So today I'm going to try to introduce you to word problems with trig and drawing your own pictures to make the triangle from the words that they give you. So the number one says a wire is attached to a tree 3 feet from the ground. The key to these word problems is always draw the ground first, because that'll be the bottom of your triangle. So always draw the ground first. And then you have some sort of tree, right, sticking up out of the ground. Draw the tree any way you want to. That's all you're getting for a tree. And then a wire is attached to it. It's those wires that kind of hold little trees up while they're still growing. That's what a guy wire is. The wire is 3.4, doesn't even say what it is, it must be feet. And it's attached to the ground 3 feet from the tree. What is the angle that is formed between the wire and the ground? That would be right here. So now you have a triangle. You're down here, you have adjacent, you have hypotenuse. So then you can say the cosine of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And then you go ahead and solve just like you did last week. If you don't have a calculator of your own today, don't go to the box and get one. Just set it up, go this far, and leave it right there. I know you can type that in. I want you to draw the picture and set up the equation. Number two, again, step one is always draw the ground, because that'll be the base of your triangle. And it says a ladder leans against a wall. So we need a wall. You can get as detailed as you want or as simple as you want, but a wall looks like that. A wall is going to be 90 degrees, right? Hopefully. And then you have a ladder leaning against the wall. There's our ladder. A 15-foot ladder leans against a wall at 52 degrees. Ladder, wall, 52 degrees. How far from the wall is the foot of the ladder? Wall, foot. We're looking for that. So this is just last week again. You're standing up here. You have opposite, hypotenuse. That's sine of the angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cross multiply x times 1. 15 times the sine of 52. And if you have a calculator, type it in. If you don't, wait till tomorrow and we'll type that in. I need you to draw the picture, set up the equation. All right, number three, I drew the ground. I draw the sun. And the sun's ray, the ray of light, strikes the ground, right? The ray and the ground meet at 55 degrees. And they meet at 55 degrees 21 meters from the base of some tree. What is the height of the tree to the nearest meter? So there's your triangle. You're standing down here. You're dealing with opposite and adjacent. That's tangent. Tangent of the angle equals opposite over adjacent. Cross multiply. And there's your equation. Number four, boy flying a kite. There's the ground. Here's the boy. He's got his kite string. He's got his kite up there. And the kite is a certain height from the ground. So there's your triangle. If we imagine a altitude making a triangle there. This angle of elevation we haven't talked about yet, but it always goes right here. Talk about that more this week. Angle of elevation is 37 degrees. Where he stands to directly under the kite, is 45 feet. How long is the kite string, which is right here? So we have adjacent, hypotenuse. That's cosine. 37 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So this time x is on the bottom, denominator. 45 times 1 is 45. X times the cos of 37 on this side. We're going to divide both sides by cosine of 37 to get x alone. And this will be what I type into the calculator. 5. Right away, draw the ground. A 10-foot ladder reaches a window that's 8 feet up from the ground. So let's just imagine this. We had a window that was 8 feet off the ground, and the ladder was 10 feet. What's the angle formed between the ladder and the wall? So that would be that theta up there, ladder, wall. So if you're up here, it looks like you have adjacent and hypotenuse, which is cosine of, I don't know, theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. When you're looking for an angle, you hit the second button to get the inverse, and that would be your answer typed into the calculator. Number 6, an airplane spots floating debris. Even though we're talking about an airplane, you always draw the ground first. That is an airplane. And floating debris must mean that we're talking about the water down here. Again, there's a word you don't know yet here, angle of depression, but I'm going to tell you what that is. So if there's some debris down here, debris, angle of depression is actually right here. It's from the pilot looking straight out his window to looking down. That angle is called the angle of depression. The altitude of the plane, how high it is 3,000 feet. What is the horizontal distance before they fly over the debris? So you could say it's up here. You could use this triangle or this one, it doesn't matter. And if this is 15, so is this, because they're alternate interior. So if we were down here, we have opposite and adjacent. So we have the tangent of 15 equals the opposite over adjacent. Cross multiply, and you have this. And just like number 4, I think, right? You're going to divide both sides by the trig function to get tangent, or to get x alone. That would be what you type into the calculator. All right, so now jump to page 35. Go to page 35. And what this sheet is doing is asking you to draw 6 pictures to the directions, say, create the diagram, label them completely, put the X in for the missing value. So basically set everything up here. You're just drawing the 6 pictures right here. And then later on, down here, it says, now solve them. All right, so just get out of math mode for a minute and just draw the pictures. And start with the ground every time. Every time you draw the ground. So it's another, you'll see a lot of kite problems in trig. So here's the kite again. He lets out 30 feet of kite string. The angle of elevation is 27 degrees. How high is the kite? And you can tell already that you have opposite and hypotenuse. So if you wanted to go down here to number 1, or letter A, down here, you could solve it by saying, let's see, opposite hypotenuse, that would be sine of 27 equals x over 30. And then you could cross multiply and solve it right here. So your job is to draw these pictures by tomorrow, and then once they're all drawn, come down here and try to solve them, and we'll go over page 35 tomorrow. But that's your assignment for tonight, is page 35. Now, as far as solving them, if you get this far and then you can say that x equals 30 times sine 27, you don't have a calculator, that's far enough for tonight, because the rest of it's just pushing buttons to get the answer. See you tomorrow.